I would say I cry maybe like a few times a month.
Okay.
I would say overwhelm is a big trigger, and it's helpful for me. Like, to me, crying is cathartic, and I can kind of like release stuff and let it go, and then feel like, okay, I'm clear-headed now. I can work on my list or whatever that looks like. I'm trying to think of other triggers.
More recently for me, like I was not much of a crier, but once my dad passed away, then the floodgates started. Literally, floodgates would start rolling out. And there are times where overwhelmness that I never cried during that, but it's been more of like if there's a moment where like a brother is crying because another brother died, or like I think a most prominent example is watching the most recent Black Panther. Just seeing all the funerals. Spoiler for people who haven't watched it, but
It's too late.
Too late now. But those funeral scenes, or any scene where like a father, the repairing a relationship with a son or daughter, whatever it could be. Those ones were starting. Where that's where I can start to feel it boiling. Of like, okay, I'm good. I'm good right now. I'm good right now.
I get that. I've heard somewhere about sympathetic criers, which I think I am sometimes, and I am able to not do that at work, but like if someone I know and care about is feeling really emotional, like sometimes my eyes will well up. Or like you're talking about situations that parallel things that either you've experienced or that you fear. I think like whenever I watch movies where one partner dies and the other partner is grieving, I'm like, it feels too real. I'm like, oh my gosh, it
all hurts.
I'm in it. Yeah, exactly.
I have only seen David cry once, and that was at your guys' wedding.
I did not know he cried at our wedding.
I think he was. It was when you guys were standing at the altar, and then I think you're about to. You didn't do vows, but you might have done that. I don't know what you guys did beforehand, but I just remember seeing him up there, and then he just like started doing, wiping his finger under his eye.
Maybe the light was in his eye.
We'll call it that. Is he much of a crier?
No.
I don't think so.
Not as much. He's emotionally expressive. But crying is more my deal in our household.
That's how you divide it up.
Yeah, exactly. I claim that.
What are other self-care things that you do that I didn't already say?
I love to cook, and I find that really gratifying, especially like after a hard work day where things don't feel tangible. Being able to like create a yummy, healthy meal, maybe healthy, maybe not. And for people I love, I find that really satisfying, and like I can take care of myself while taking care of other people. I love a hot bath. Nice. Like a bubble bath. Ooh, I don't have a tub big enough, but when I have the opportunity, I'm taking advantage of that. Exercise. It's like so boring because it's such a typical thing, but honestly, like walking outside in the fresh air, walking the dog or something helps a lot.
I was about to say, because David and I wrestled, I guess his senior year, my freshman year, and then fast forward to time in college, and I was like, I felt good. My body was feeling good, working out a lot. And then David flexed his arm. He's like, I don't do push-ups. This is all natural. I'm like, all right. And then when you say that, I'm just like, I have never actually seen you guys. I guess, I don't know. You guys are probably not gym goers, but it's like, I don't think I've ever seen like an actual like sweat bead go down.
Well, in our old building, there was a gym. So we went every day then, which was great. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like to sweat that much. I'm good with walking, some yoga, low-key exercise.
Oh, there you go. And then kind of tying into, your cooking, and then it's kind of for you, kind of for David also, or kind of for anyone else you want to cook for. Something you mentioned to me, again, in our talks leading up to this, was that you still have to figure out setting boundaries. That's still something you're working on. And then me as well, when it comes to, like work, for example, it's like I always want to be what they call a quote unquote yes man. Of course, I'll do that for you. Whatever you need, happy to help. Even though my own work would kind of suffer because I'm doing something else. For you, when it comes to someone asking you to do something that's a little outside your comfort bubble, like what do you do when processing that kind of request?
One of the first things is kind of evaluate for myself, is this like outside my comfort bubble in a way that's going to be like a growing edge, you know, like a little stretch, like doing this interview with you, for example. And then there's also like, no, or is it I'm really overwhelmed, and whether that's at work or in my personal life, and I just don't have the, you know, space or mental capacity to do that, in which case, like, am I just going to harm myself a little bit by taking on something for someone else? And so that's like the question that I try to ask myself. And then too, like, will it benefit someone else? You know, that I think factors in, or is it just something that needs to be done, and me doing it right now is not going to make much of a difference, but could be to my own detriment. You know, I think a lot of it for me is around like capacity and trying to like keep everything balanced for my own self.
Yeah. So in my own therapy session, I mentioned that it's like, oh yeah, I want to help out as much as I can. He's like, do you know what that's called? I was like, being helpful. It's called being helpful.
Generosity. Yeah.
He was like, no, you're being codependent, or, you know, you're putting everyone else in front of yourself. And so I'm like, oh, snap. Damn, that's what that's called. Mm-hmm. But he started telling, like, you know, he would ask me like, how often do you say no now? So it's like, it's not like I'm actually saying no. It's more of like I'm shifting that person asking me the question to someone else. So that's been interesting. You know, just trying to be like, okay, I can answer this, but you should really talk to this person. Yeah, absolutely. We talk a lot at work about how boundaries aren't to keep people out there, to keep people safe too. When it like feels hard to say no to someone, or a buddy is like, let's hang out, and you're like, I've had a horrible day. Yeah. I'm just trying to like stay in and do my own thing, you know? Yeah. So I don't think boundaries should be hurting anyone, but like it's keeping all of us safe, whatever that looks like. True. Well, thank you for lowering your boundaries and, you know, talking with me on this new level. Thanks for the opportunity to stretch a little bit. I know. I was just like, I think, so, you know, my partner always asked me like, how are you feeling about your upcoming interview? I was like, I think it'll be great because A, I get to talk with them, and B, get their story out there to everyone to listen across the world. But then C is like, when was the last time I really talked to this person? Like, when was the last time I actually like, these are the questions that go through my head. Like, when was the last time I actually like figure out what's going on in their life? I was like, for Ashby, I was like, never. Well, we've had, like you're saying, lots of like brief interactions over many years, and it's great to get to like have some longer set aside time with you. I know. And then I think I teased you a couple times, at least towards the end of 2022-ish, saying like, hey, Ashby, your time could be coming. I'm going to be talking to you.